When was the last time you gave your mind a break? Not a vacation, not a weekend away, not even a day off. I mean a real break. A break from trying to figure everything out, from researching, from analyzing. A break from rehearsing every possible outcome before taking a step forward. Lately, I've been wondering about something. What if many of us aren't stuck because we don't have enough information? What if we're stuck because we have too much information? The Gemini New Moon arrives on June 15th, and Gemini is often associated with communication, learning, and curiosity. This new moon feels like it's offering us something that we desperately need. A mental reset. Not because we failed, not because we're behind, not because we're doing anything wrong, but because our minds have been carrying a lot lately. We live in a world overflowing with information. Podcasts, videos, courses, books, social media, news, opinions, advice. This video, at any given moment, we have access to more information than any generation in history. And yet, many of us feel more overwhelmed than ever. We consume and consume and consume, but we rarely stop long enough to integrate what we've learned. And eventually the mind becomes cluttered. We aren't incapable. It's just that our capacity is full. What might feel like lack of motivation isn't a motivational problem at all. Sometimes it's mental exhaustion. Sometimes it's nervous system overload. Sometimes it's simply a lack of space. Sometimes we've been carrying so much input that we can no longer hear ourselves think. And that's what I believe this Gemini new moon is asking us to get curious about. Not what else do I need to know, but what would happen if I stopped gathering information long enough to hear myself again? I see this all the time in my own life. I read another book. I listen to another podcast. I watch another video. I take another course. I get advice from everyone except myself. And then eventually I reach a point where I realize I don't actually need another answer from anything outside of me. What I need is enough quiet to listen to my own voice. Maybe you've experienced this too. Let's talk about the shadow side of this new moon. It can include overthinking, doom scrolling, starting 5 projects and finishing none, analyzing situations until you're exhausted. You feel mentally scattered. You're constantly searching for certainty before taking action. And here's the funny thing though, our nervous system seeks safety to act. And our minds often try to create safety through certainty. We tell ourselves, if I can just gather enough information, if I can just think about this for a little bit longer, if I can just figure everything out first, then I'll finally feel safe enough to move forward. Certainty says if I have it all figured out, then everything will work out. But sometimes the search for certainty becomes the very thing keeping us stuck, because life doesn't offer certainty. It offers experience. And safety doesn't come from having all the answers. Safety comes from teaching the body that uncertainty can be survived. The beautiful thing about this new moon is that it's arriving right before the summer solstice. So spring has been asking us to learn, to awaken, to become more aware. But the energy is shifting. Soon we'll be asked to embody what we've learned, to live it, to practice it, to become it. So before rushing toward the next answer, maybe give yourself permission to pause, to breathe, to listen, to create a little space, a little bit of safety, and then see what emerges when your mind gets a little quieter. If you'd like to experience this a little deeper, start with these reflections and notice what arises as you sit with each question. What mental clutter am I carrying right now? What thoughts are no longer serving me? Where am I consuming more information than I'm integrating? What am I trying to figure out that may not need an answer today? What mental story am I ready to release? And the last one, what truth might emerge if my mind became a little quieter? Maybe the answers you seek are waiting for the noise to settle. Learn what you can about yourself now. Soon you'll be asked to live what you've learned.